Hey, what up, everybody? It's MotoFox here. I know I've been away for a while, but I'm going to try and make some more videos. My friends keep telling me that I need to make videos when I'm doing stuff, and in this instance, I will be upfront that Atoto here, I was going to do a video anyways on the installation of a radio on the Tacoma, just because there was the forums are pretty good and everything, and the videos are pretty good, but there was a couple things that I was left with questions on, so hopefully I can make a video that will help somebody else out. But back to the story here, where Atoto, when you buy their product and register, you can become one of their beta testers or whatever, so they told me they'd send me some free shit, so I guess that kicked me in gear to make the video. They're going to send me a thing for wireless CarPlay. Apparently it only works with Apple, but that's what I use, so cool. But that'll be a different video. So basically I went on a trip up to Michigan, and I was pretty disappointed in the factory radio, where it sounds fine if you have the regular radio on. You get good volume and it's nice and loud, but as soon as you plug into anything inside the aux port, which this is a 2010 Toyota Tacoma, when you plug into the aux port, no matter what's plugged in and how high you have the volume on everything, it's still just kind of low. So rather than dick around with that, I decided Amazon, they have radios all the way down to under $50, and you can go name brand. Atoto, after doing some research, is kind of basically that borderline of it's almost a name brand. It's almost there, but they have their S series, and well, they have a whole bunch of S whatever. This one is an F7. F as in Foxtrot. And it's instead of it being Android based, it's Linux based. So that was it's kind of like it's able to run CarPlay and Android, what is it, Android Car something whatever, natively, since it's Linux based. So I decided to go with that one. There's not a lot of information, so I'm going to kind of go over that first. Over the radio, and then I'll go over some of the installation on it. One of my questions on it was steering wheel controls, because a lot of people say you need an additional controller for that. And initially I purchased it, I was having issues with it, and I just decided to wire it up directly, and I'll show you that, everything behind the radio and all that kind of stuff. But let's kind of go over the radio first. I'm going to start up the truck because it's freaking hot as shit today. And initially you can see the splash screen to start is a Toyota. It comes with some generic one to start out with, but that's something that you can change. And alright, so with the Tacoma, I have daytime running lights. So one of the first things I'll show you here is this little button right here, which is kind of your adjustment to go from, dark mode to light mode, or I can just turn off my headlights and turn them back on. You can see it'll change it. Well, there it goes. So you can see it'll go down to a full brightness. So we'll leave it at the full brightness for now. Actually, we'll do this to full brightness. Alright, so this is your home screen. Of course, your time, date, and then this is your current application or whatever that's running. This here is your Android CarPlay. We'll just call it that for right now because I can't remember what it is. Your radio, your full menu basically. Then this is Apple Music, I guess, and then the actual Apple CarPlay. You have a mic port. I guess let's keep going on the screen. You have your home button, back button. This tells you where you're currently at. what's all connected. You can see the Bluetooth is grayed out, another time. And then for some of the controls, you have your power and mute, which is on the same button. Volume down, volume plus, back, forward, and then your home. And I believe if you hold it, does it go to Siri? Well, I guess I don't have my phone hooked up yet. So, all right. And then also you have a mic / aux port. You have your micro SD port, and then here is another USB port. Then below it you have your reset, so if the radio ever locks up or something like that, you can put something in there to actually reset it. And then on to some more controls here. We'll go into this to show you more. So you got Apple CarPlay. Okay, so yeah, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, radio, USB. Okay, so that's Bluetooth audio, micro SD. This is your audio link, is so when you hook up your phone to your tethered cord, which is how it is right now, you get whatever is on the screen. Now my rear camera, part of my reason for taking this apart today is the rear camera works when you put it into reverse. So if I put it into reverse here, you see you get the rear camera. Now, and then that was because my tailgate's down here. But when you push on rear camera here, it says I got no video signal detected. I've checked all my wiring at the light, which again I'll show you later in the video, and I have it connected to the back of the unit. Today I'm going to test and see if I'm getting power out of the back of the unit, or if it's just because I purchased a cheap camera and that part of the camera's not working. So we'll go back here. The responsiveness of the radio is pretty good. It could be smoother, but for 150 bucks, I mean, come on. And then you got your audio video in. It's a Access Cab Tacoma. I don't think I could fit more TVs in here, and anybody that sits in the back seat has to be an amputee, so there's no point in having TVs back there. And we got your EQ here, which the EQ honestly is pretty awesome. You got this cute little fader here. You can just kind of adjust it wherever you want, or you can use your controls here. Of course I'm blocking it. And you have your reset, fader, balancer, and then you have your EQ, which you can see I apparently don't like to party because it's all flat right now. I just haven't gone through all that, but you have a bunch of presets. Whenever I use presets, they never sound right, so I just haven't gone through all this. The problem with getting a new stereo or like head unit or basically improving anything, you just want to keep adding on. I'm like, well, I got this, I might as well throw some subs in, some speakers, whatever. But all right, so back to the store here, back to here, phone, and into settings. All right, so system settings, we'll go ahead and go through. Got language, I only speak the one, but whatever. Let's see, time and date, we'll go into that. It should automatically show you the time and date, or it'll give you the option to sync either through the radio or when you connect a device for the first time. And you see you can change that from the 24-hour format over to the 12 if you like. This one is, I thought the beeping on it is super annoying, so that was one of the first things that I changed. Steering wheel position, actually we're gonna turn that off. Yeah, there you go, you get to hear the beep. Now here's your steering wheel control select. We'll go into that. Actually, we can just go over that right now. You have your presets, which I could not get to work. You would set either this or custom, and when you have custom, then you can go into your key settings. With the steering wheel controls, and keep in mind, I didn't have to get any additional adapters. I got a wiring harness adapter to connect to the factory one, just because I don't like really tapping into wires unless I have to. very common though, and so you don't even really have to do that. I'll show you what colors get it to work. Then for programming, you press and hold on this button, and it'll kind of go to like a have an outline on it. Then you push your steering wheel control to the button that you want it to have, and then let go of both of them, and it'll go to your pre-select. So like right now I have my mode button set up for Siri. So let's say I want to change that. We'll just click on here. There we go. Alright, so actually it looks like I'm reprogramming all of them now. So we'll go hold this, hold my mode, and you can see it change colors. That one's selected. So next we'll go to the volume plus, press and hold, hit volume up, boom. Then we got volume down, hit the steering wheel control, boom. Then we got skip forward, press and hold. Then we'll hit the steering wheel control up and hold and let go. And one last one. Boom. So that programs all 5 of the steering wheel controls that I have, and we'll give you a quick little look-see at that. Then you can also get additional ones here, which, man, that's tempting to get, but it's an additional, basically a little over $100 typically for the buttons here, and it only gives you like 3, maybe 5 buttons if you get them from like Japan. And then there's another ribbon that goes across the back of the steering wheel. Maybe I'll get that in a later video, who knows. But back to the radio here. So now that all that's programmed, we can go back. Let's see, steering wheel controls. Of course, everybody knows what a factory reset is. We don't need to go over that. We'll go over this real quick. I don't give a shit. I'll block out my yeah, whatever, who cares. We'll get out of there. Alright, so next we have display settings, night dimmer level. So this is for your like if you have daytime running lights like I do, you can adjust that to adjust your level to either, you know, with your lights on or off. And your key panel lights, you get what, 7 options for that. So factory Toyota is red, so I'm gonna go with that, but you got green, black if you're really, you want to go stealthy, yellow, that looks more like blue, but we'll say, okay, that's blue, but that definitely looks blue. And then orange. Alright. Wallpaper, it comes with a couple of factory ones. I haven't added any additional ones on here. If I remember right, the display on this is 1200 by 600. So I would bet that you have to have a matching wallpaper for it to work. Who cares about wallpaper? Video prohibition switch. Now this one here, when you look inside of the manual, it says something about keeping the video from working, but I think that only applies if you hook up the parking brake switch, which I have not done. So we'll turn that off and see if maybe our video works after that, but I doubt it. Pretty sure I tried that already. But this is your boot logo. So the factory one, I don't know if they have it on here. I think this one you have to use the menu buttons. Here we go. Let's say you got a BMW, you say okay, and then your radio is going to have to restart. And we get the round L as it's starting up. Boom, and that's how long the radio startup is. Go back in here and check the camera real quick. Still no video signal, didn't think so. And we'll go back into settings. Audio and EQ. I think, yeah, you guys. Alright, so you have your subwoofer output. I don't know why that's on, but it doesn't really matter. EQ, volume, fader. Here, we'll just go into a couple. You see my don't like to party line. Oop. Then this one looks the same as before. And you see you can set your subwoofer filter, subwoofer level, and enable in rear view. So that's if you want to have music in the rear view. If you want to, pause the music as you're backing up. But I'm not that uncool. All right, so then we got radio settings, pretty basic. Region. I'm in North America. RDS. Tell you the information, sync time. I did that with my phone. Bluetooth settings are basic as shit, so who cares? And then camera settings. So you have your rear camera input. You can of course turn it on and off. Your camera view, either you can have it reversed or normal. Parking assist guide, which are your lines. Most cameras you have a little switch or a wire you can cut to either have the lines on or off on the actual camera, and then a separate one that you can do on here. And then your parking assist guide, where you can kind of edit how wide your car is, or move say your camera's a little off center or something like that. Now that pretty much sums up the radio settings as far as I can remember here. So the next thing is going to be connecting a phone. So the way that I wired mine up, I have a kind of a wire coming out out of the center console. There you go. So connect the phone, give it couple of seconds, boom. You have your song that's playing. You can do your random or repeats. Over here is your menu for Siri. Then you have some of your last used applications on for CarPlay. Current time for the phone, your signal strength. So let's say we go to home, which is going to bring us back to this screen. Hit home again, brings us back to our normal screen, or the initial screen. And you have CarPlay here that you can touch, brings you back to that. Then you have maps you can bring up. Probably going to have to cancel that one out so you guys aren't seeing that. Then you just touch that to bring yourself back to music. Okay, so actually I apologize. When you touch this, that's what it's supposed to do there, is bring you over to all of your applications on your phone. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that one again. So there we go. And it shows you some of the applications on the phone. Now keep in mind that part of the reason that I got this radio is because it does CarPlay natively. I wasn't really concerned if I had to plug my phone in or if it connect wirelessly. Really at the time, I mean, it's cool that Atoto is going to send me the wireless one, which I'm not going to say no. But I just wanted something that it just did CarPlay natively. All the S models, you have to connect an additional adapter that's like another $150 or something like that, so it will do CarPlay. You can pair them and stuff like that, but it's just not quite the same. So that's part of the reason I went with this one. But this one is not going to have a lot of native apps in it. You're not going to be able to install like Netflix or something like that into the radio itself, at least as it sits now. But you get CarPlay natively, so if you wanted to watch any of those apps, you can, or you can use the screenplay not screenplay, but auto link, and it'll show you exactly what's on the device. Like, this is just showing the playlist that's on my phone right now, which some apps will go sideways. This app in particular, you know, it only does straight up and down, the Apple Music app. So I mean, I'd say that's a pretty good guide of the radio. I don't think I'm missing too much. Really, the radio itself, the controls are basic since it is Linux based. So, like I said, you're not going to have an app store and stuff like that you are on the S models. But on the S models, to have it, well, at least from my understanding, you need to have their adapter to have it do CarPlay, where this does it, CarPlay and Android Auto natively. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions on this part of it, just leave it down in the comments. I'll try and answer what I can. Then next we're going to move on to some of the installation. Alright, on to part 2, tools. So, you're going to need basically just the 10mm really is going to be the only one you're really going to need. But just to be safe, I mean, just a full rail of 1/4 inch or 3/8 will get it done. Electric guns make it a lot easier. Some wire cutters and wire strippers, definitely going to need those. Zip ties to make sure everything's nice and tidy, and electrical tape on anything that's going to be outside or could be exposed to weather. You'll see I kind of skimped on some of it, but whatever. And then just a couple of basic hand tools. I use a butt splice type connector. I ran out of, you know, the ones I was using where they're coated like that, but anything on like a wiring harness, I like to do a full crimp on those, and then anything that is like an accessory that isn't on that harness, I'll put on these. That way you can take the whole thing out. And then anything, you know, you might need this if you need a body ground or something, razor blade, safety glasses. Multimeter we'll use today. Here's the factory radio, and you always need a Colt 45. On the factory radio here, you can see on mine, I do have the hazard light and clock out of it, but you can also see on mine it has the 4 connectors plus your radio, and then the small radio. Some only come with 3 and some come with 4. This one, I believe this one and that one are all used. This one I'm not really sure what the hell it does. This one is your speakers. This one is for your steering wheel controls, and this one's for the radio. And you can see from the factory connections here how it kind of mounts in there, where you would see it from underneath and get to those screws. So let's next. Alright, and then getting this light off is really easy. You just got this screw here, here, and here. 10mm, run those out. Here's some little body clamps. And then to get this light off, I just grab underneath here and then grab up at the top here and just kind of pull straight out, or kind of pull this up and this out, and it'll come right out. Alright, and this is with the light off. As you can see, there's also been a little module for the brake controller or whatever, for the brake lights on the tow hitch. This is where they spliced in. Here is where I spliced in. This was my initial splice, which this one's all you really need, where you would have this little ground come on to the light on the ground, and then this wire, the positive to this positive. I was trying to troubleshoot the camera not working, and I was thinking maybe it wasn't getting sufficient ground. So that's when I tapped into the ground that they made for the trailer hitch. Everything's getting, it shows I'm getting sufficient ground. So next to look at the back of the radio, but you can see it's pretty simple. So moving on. Alright, and then you can see the wire, maybe kind of see the wire go through there. Keep zip tying what you can. Comes up through there. And you'll open your cab up here and pull this guy up. Side. It's really the only trim piece that really needs to come off. Actually, maybe this guy. But you can see that's pretty easy too. Alright, so now that we got those off, to get the wire from the back into the cab, you're going to lift up this guy here. Actually, you see this little plastic clip here. There you go. Comes off, and you got this plug right here. Look under the vehicle, and you got the plug there. All you have to do is just push that through, and then push your wire through, and then put the plug back in. I would recommend putting the plug over the side of it, or over the top of it like that, and not cutting through the plug that way though. Or not that way, but cutting through the plug. That way, if you take this out or whatever, you're still not affecting that factory seal. Hopefully the little wire going through there won't affect the water tightness of it. But it's better than cutting stuff up. And that's all you have to do. And then from there, see the wire just kind of comes up. I'm not going to take all this off, but it's pretty easy. You just pull this cover off here. There's two little screws you pull off. One here. Then this comes off. You pull that off. And there's a screw there you take off. Over here. That guy take off. This is where I ended up putting my microphone for the radio. I think it works pretty good there. For one, I didn't want to see it up on the headliner like most people put it. I think that looks ugly. It doesn't look factory, it looks like a cheap aftermarket add-on when you do that. So I've heard the mic on the radio isn't too bad. I haven't tried it though, but that seems to work. When you pull off that little cover, then there's another screw behind there, I think, that you have to get off. To do just the radio, you don't have to pull off any of that really. All you have to do is pull off this. I'll show you here in a second with the body tool, and then there's 4 screws. The whole thing pops out. Boom, easy peasy. I pulled up some of this center dash here. That way I could run the cord kind of out of the center dash like a dick out of a pair of jeans or something. But they're sending me that wireless one, so we'll see how that one goes. If you do that route, you do have to pull out the screws here. This just pulls up. There's like 3 screws, and then you have a screw over behind the glove box you have to get out, and then all this stuff pulls out. Not required though. This is all as deep as you want to go. Do you want to see wires? Do you not want to see wires? Stuff like that. But let me go ahead and I'll grab a tool to pull the radio. We'll do that real quick and have a look-see at the back of the radio. For pulling the radio, it's pretty easy. You just take just about any tool will do on this. Get under there, pop out. Now this part you don't even really have to take off, you can just let that hang down. And you look up in there, and we have our 4 screws. I'm not going to bother filming this, I think you guys can figure that part out. Alright, we got our 4 screws out. Let's grab the radio, and it doesn't take much effort to pop it out now. You can see our wiring harness behind here. Let's go down here. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect this, and then we'll talk about it on the tailgate. It'll be a little bit easier to understand. Actually, now that I got the wiring harness out of the way, let's talk about the rest of the wiring for the reverse camera on the back of the radio here. I'm not going to pull that out because I have this run. This here is for the wired connection for CarPlay. So I have it run down the dash, and then it goes down to about here, and then connects to an extension, a USB extension cable, and then goes to this. So that might be another thing that you need. A lot of people put them in their glove box, but how the fuck am I going to do that from the driver's seat? So you have a couple of in ports on here. In this particular case, it's in the lower corner. It'll of course be labeled. Now this is my wire here. This, you should just be able to provide power to this, and then the camera should turn on and be able to display an image. And on the wiring harness there is a wire that's labeled for your rear view camera that should, you know, when you turn that on, it should power this wire up, which powers a wire on the back of the radio that powers this up until it's turned on. For some reason that's not happening, so I need to find out if the radio isn't giving a signal, or if, you know, if this isn't working for some reason. I'm betting it's the camera rather than the radio, but we'll find out. Here are your 3 or 4 harnesses. The one, like I said, won't be in use. Let's go back and take a look at the other harness and how I have that connected, and how the steering wheel controls get connected. Alright, so this should be the final part of the video. This is probably the part you're all been waiting for. But this is the wiring harness here. This is going to go to, I believe, rear speakers. What does it say? Chinese, rear left. Yeah, so these are going to be to your rear speakers, which is this connector here. And this one is going to be with your front speakers and like your power and all that stuff. You can see here my ground's kind of crazy because I had some other stuff going on with other adapters that weren't needed. Then of course your amp connectors. This, I guess, is for another steering wheel control, which when you look at these wires that it's connected to, they actually connect into the same place on the harness here. So this is your connector for your actual steering wheel controls. So you can see on the back of the radio, I would think this is going to be the same on the back of any radio that you're trying to connect to an aftermarket one, at least one of the generic ones. I guess the Sonys and stuff are different now. But alright, so you have your steering wheel, or steering wheel key plus is going to go to this black and green wire, and I'll put up the link or the description or part number for this guy. And then your other steering wheel, it's not just the plus, but this one's a pound plus, I think. Oh, no, sorry, this one, the yellow steering wheel key plus, goes to the green and yellow. Actually, that's kind of a green and brown, I guess. Green and yellow, green and brown, you make the decision. And then your steering wheel key pound plus, which is, it looks kind of like a brown and black, goes to your black and green wire. So these two wires here are all that you need for steering wheel controls. You don't need an additional box or anything like that, just that. And this is where a lot of the people will do what's considered a military splice, where they'll just take these two wires here and then splice them into the other half of this harness inside of the Tacoma. So you don't even really need to buy this if you don't want. I just didn't want to splice the wires, but I really hope that helps somebody out. If you have any questions or whatever, just hit me up in the comments. And then here in a couple days, hopefully I'll have a video for you about the wireless AirPlay. But until then, have a good one, guys.